Hi, my name's Lee Matthews and I'm a physiotherapist, and this is Pilates Rehab Relax. So don't forget to click the like button, subscribe, or give me a comment, give me some feedback, because it all helps to build the channel. So today I'm going to guide you through some gentle chair-based knee exercises. There's going to be a total of 10 exercises. Several of them will be sat in the chair and several of them will be in standing, holding onto the chair, and we're going to finish off with a couple of stretches. So these are aimed at improving your mobility. They're also ideal if you've got problems with your knee, something like osteoarthritis or wear and tear changes, where we want to get those muscles stronger around the joint and make sure that joint doesn't get stiff as well. So you work at a pace that's right for you. If you're not great with your standing balance, then do them when someone's around to help you if needed. The other thing is I've recorded exercising just seated alone, and there's also even some bed exercises. So there's other options there if you're not confident. And again, you work at your own pace. I'll give you a clear instruction of them. And if you're not confident with one, or if you don't like that one, just wait until I start the next exercise. But we're looking to strengthen those muscles that surround the knee joint, get that joint moving a little bit, and hopefully improve our standing balance just a little bit as well there. So let's get started. You ideally need a nice firm chair, something like a dining room chair, nothing that's on wheels, and a sofa's a little bit too soft for this one. So get yourself a nice safe space to work in, nice chair like mine, and I will be using a stool for one of the exercises. You might use a coffee table, you might use another chair, so have a little go and let's get started. So the first thing we're going to do is just do a little warm-up exercise. So we're going to practice bending and straightening the knee there. My bottom is on the edge of the chair with this one, and what I'm going to do is bring that heel in towards my bottom and then out nice and straight again. So sometimes people say to me, well, what I really need is something like WD-40 on my joints to make them move a little bit easier, a bit of lubrication on the joints. And actually the good thing is that movement actually makes that happen, that when we move, it actually produces something called synovial fluid that helps to lubricate the joints there. So we're just going to get that leg moving. And again, you might find you're just sliding it back and forwards on the floor with this one. It depends on how much movement you've got available to you. And if your knee's a bit stiff, you could even add a little gentle stretch for the last couple of exercises there. So it really depends on what you're trying to get out of the exercise, but just starting to move it will be a good warm-up before we start the main exercises. So exercise 2 is going to be an isometric hold, so it's a static hold where we brace the muscle on the front of our thigh there. So we call this static quads, and this is where I'm going to use a stool to rest my foot on. So here we go. If I sit myself on that, I'm back on the chair, so I'm leaning against the backrest here. My heel is on the chair, and what I'm going to do now, I'm going to tense up the front of the thigh, toes towards me, and hold for 5 seconds there. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and relax. So, and again, so as we tense up, that muscle should feel like it's nice and firm there, like there's muscles being engaged, and then relax. And as we're trying to look for strengthening here, I'm going to do about 10 repetitions. You know, you might even start with 5 to begin with if you're not confident with that, and see how you feel afterwards. And again, when we do strengthening exercises, you probably get more out of it if you did this a couple of times a day. There we go. So that was 5 reps. So I'm going to try and do the full 10 there, but you know, try and join in if you feel up to it. Nearly there. So again, this is another one that you can do laying in the bed. And we've got one more to do. There we go. So push down, hold. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and relax. So that was our static quads exercise. Well, we're going to do another quads exercise called inner range quads. It's a little bit more dynamic. So what I'm going to do for this, I've got my bottom right back on the chair again. I'm leaning against the backrest. And what I'm going to do with this is bring the foot up in front of me. Again, my toes are towards me this one. So just working that quads muscle again and then back down again. So bring that foot up, hold for a few seconds and back down again. So obviously for me, I'm doing it on my leg that's closest to the camera, but you know, you do this to your circumstance at home. So if it's your other leg, then obviously that's where you've got to target your exercises. And for some of you, you might have wear and tear in both knees. So it might be that you do it on both sides there. So again, you work to your own circumstances and your own level of ability there. There we go. Well, for our next exercise, we're going to do sitting to standing. So I'm going to bring myself, so I've got my bottom forwards on the chair, and good technique with sitting to standing is that you bring your weight forwards, your nose comes directly over your toes there. Again, sometimes when we try and get out, we get into bad techniques where we're trying to not bring our bottom forwards or trying to lift up, and that makes it really, really challenging. So for any standing up from a chair, you've got to bring your bottom forwards. You want your nose over your toes there. Now for some of you, you might not need any support of your hands, in which case you could even have them in front of your chest. But if you need to use your arms, that's fine. The only condition to that is you either need to be pushing down on the chair or down on your knees. What I don't want you doing is trying to pull yourself up by holding onto a frame or a table in front of you. It's not safe, it's not good practice, and it's a dangerous thing to be getting used to doing. So you can push with your arms as much as you want, but you push down through the chair or on your knees. Okay, so again, 10 of these, work at your own pace. The height of the chair will definitely impact on the level of difficulty here as well. So I've got a creaky old chair, you'll probably hear it when we're doing this exercise. Here we go, stand up. And sit down again. So that's 5 of those. If you're struggling, then just wait till the next exercise. That's definitely the chair that's creaking and not me, yeah. And one more. There we go. So that was sitting standing. We're going to now bring ourselves around to the back of the chair. So if I bring myself around so you can see what I'm doing. And what I'm looking for now is a gentle squatting exercise. So what I'm aiming to do is a gentle knee bend where I bring myself down and then back up again. And again, for you, it might only be just a tiny little bend of a few inches, back up again. The temptation is to try and go really far with this. And whilst you will get some exercise there, if it makes you sore or irritates your knee, that's not helpful. So just a small exercise, a small little knee bend is absolutely fine. I think if you don't go very far, you know, don't beat yourself up about it, but just treat it as work in progress. So again, I bend my knees, hold for a few seconds, and back up again. There we go. So that was our gentle squats holding the back of the chair. The next exercise we're going to do in standing is a hamstring curl. So again, I'm looking to try and work these muscles on the back of my thigh with this one. So holding onto your chair, either leaning onto a table or something, or the back of a chair as I'm doing. And what I'm looking to try and do is bring that leg up behind me and then back down again. And all the time I'm doing this, my knees stay in line with each other. And each time I'm trying to bring that heel up towards my bottom. That was 5. So again, we're looking to build up towards 10 of them if you can. That's great. So that was our hamstring curls. With our knees, with our standing balance, it's always useful if we challenge it a little bit to try and make our balance better. The immediate reaction a lot of people try and do is standing on one leg, which can be a bit too much of a challenge. So for you, standing on one leg might be absolutely fine, and that might be the exercise that you do for the next one. But I would say for a lot of you, that might be a bit too much. And one way we can make it a little bit easier is what we call a tandem stand. So a bit like a tandem bicycle. If I put one foot so it's directly in front of the other, that's a challenge. And again, we can even make that slightly gentler still if we do a staggered tandem stand. So instead of one in front of the other, they're slightly out to the side there. So again, I want you to experience a little bit of a challenge, but if you can't stand for more than a few seconds without holding on, you need to be kinder to yourself. So either in a tandem position, and again, you could even have a chair either side of you for safety. If in doubt, make sure there's someone around. But again, for me, I'm all right with having the chair in front of me. So again, we might look at our watch for the time of this one. So again, you try and find a good position for you, and we'll do about 30 seconds. And you can tap the chair or the tables either side of you as much as you want to, but we'll try and hold that position for about 30 seconds. I'll call out when it's time to swap over. That's great. And now I want you to swap your feet over to the opposite position, and we'll do the same again. So here we go. Not long now. There we go. So that was 30 seconds of balancing in a tandem stand and then swapping over to do the same on the other side. We're going to do one more strengthening exercise, again mainly targeting our bottom muscles now. And what I'm going to look to do, holding onto a chair, I'm going to bring my leg out behind me, and I'm going to do the same on the opposite side. Our glutes are really important for lots of different things we do during the day, including our walking, things like getting up the stairs. And let's do a little bit of an exercise here on either side. So again, you could just do them on one side. You might find you get one really big bum cheek and the other's not quite as big. So let's do both sides to even things up. And again, you could be resting on a kitchen table when you're doing this one for some support, or again, you might be okay with just holding on to a chair. So I lift the straight leg out this time, I hold for a few seconds, and then back down again. And make sure you don't overarch with your back with this one. You can be leaning forwards and that's fine. That's great. And when you've done about 10 of those, bring yourself back into seated again. So we're going to finish off by doing a couple of stretches. The first of them will be for our hamstrings. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to bring my leg out in front of me. I've got the knee pretty much straight, and what I'm going to do now is bow forwards, keeping my back nice and straight. You can either have the toes pointing up to the ceiling or out in front of you, I really don't mind. But the aim of this stretch is to feel the stretch in the hamstrings, those muscles on the back of your leg. And we hold this for about 10 seconds. And because it's a stretch, we're just going to aim to do 2 of them. And relax. And do one more again. And again, I'll leave it down to you, but there'll be no harm in doing this on both sides. Okay, so that was our hamstring stretch. There's one last thing to do to finish off, and that's a quad stretch. So our quads are these muscles on the front of our thighs. When we're not so great with our mobility, when we spent more time sat in a chair, we tend to get a bit tight with the quads and also the muscle on the front of the hip. So doing a stretch for these can be really helpful, not just for your knee, but also even for your back. And the way I'm going to go about that is I'm going to have my bottom sat forwards on the chair, and I'm going to turn around sideways onto the chair. So I can hold onto the back of the chair for some support. One of my legs is over the edge of this, and my bottom cheek is hanging off of the chair on this side. And what I'm going to do with this stretch is bring my leg underneath me, so I feel the stretch on the front of the thigh here. You might even find that you get a stretch much earlier than that. You might only be this far before you feel it. So you hold that whatever position you've got available to you. And we're keeping our back nice and straight with this. And let's hold about 10 seconds. And then relax. And then the same again. And again, I probably would suggest you do this on both sides. There we go, and that's it. So that was some gentle chair-based exercises, with some of them in standing, some of them in seated. How did you find it? Was it okay? If it was too hard, then go back and just do the ones either in seated or laying. If it was okay, then stick with it, build up to 10 repetitions. And if you find it's easy, the best progression for it would just to be going to doing them all in standing. And again, there'll be links after this video, so you can do that. So don't forget to click like, subscribe, or leave a comment. A little bit of a like or a comment really helps me with the channel and helps things to grow. Also, I'm starting to do shout outs for people that have left comments and things. There's a lady called Jean, and she's been struggling a bit of late, and she's been really sweet and supportive with the channel, and I just wanted to give a big shout out to Jean and wish her a speedy recovery. So good luck, Jean, and good luck the rest of you, and we'll see you soon.